Good afternoon, everyone, from the IBD Newsroom. Welcome to Stock Market Today, sponsored by Interactive Brokers. On today's show, we're going to take a look at a pretty quiet session for the market, but nice day of outperformance for the NASDAQ. We're going to take a look at three stocks, as we always do. First, take a look at Disney and its earnings report. We're going to take a look at a ETF, exchange-traded fund, that outperformed today, as well as Alibaba ahead of its Singles Day next week. But before we do that, let's take a look at the major stock indexes. Hi, everyone. Ken Shreve, joined by Ed Carson. And Ed, it was a pretty quiet session, but we did get a pretty good close for the NASDAQ today. Yeah, it was a nice session. It was a really nice week, really, when you think about it, hitting record highs essentially for all the major indexes. Again, there was sort of muddled China trade news from the White House, but really not a whole lot was, came out of that, to be honest. And so the market just sort of moved to the side. Chips didn't have a great day. Micron got a downgrade, but the market shrugged it off, especially the NASDAQ. So pretty positive action. As you can see, we've rebounded nicely since about October 3rd. That's sort of when the market hit that's 200-day line on the NASDAQ and Dow, and then basically went straight up, mostly on, a lot of it's on China trade news being more positive. We've been using the word resilient to discuss the stock market, and I think the bulls have to be happy for another pretty solid week. We're ending near highs, and action in individual growth stocks continues to look pretty good. Yes, it does. Okay. Well, let's start by taking a look at Disney shares, which gapped up powerfully at the open. We had a pretty good earnings report from Disney. Really strong sales growth, helped by its recent acquisition of Fox Entertainment. But here's a look at a daily chart for Disney, Ed, and stock was very strong early, up about 6% or so, but kind of faded into the close here. Yeah, the stock it sort of hit resistance. There was sort of like, you could almost see a double bottom. This is a flat base, we're calling it, but you could see a few weeks ago it sort of got up to a level around 140, 141. That's basically where Disney sort of hit a high today, came back. That might be an area for an aggressive entry. Maybe Disney will form a handle here. Disney Plus is launching on Tuesday, and it's sort of going to change the thing, but we don't really know how well it's going to do. We don't know how any of these are going to do. So we're, even though when that launches, it's not going to be instant, notice, but this is clearly going to be a major player. Disney has so much content. They're adding a lot more. So with Disney and Apple, it's going to be a lot of fun with that, and Netflix and Amazon. Peak TV is getting even more peak. A lot of definitely news about streaming, so we'll see how that launch goes next week for Disney. All right, we also wanted to take a look at a biotech exchange-traded fund. This is the IBB, because it had a good day of outperformance today. It's also, biotechs in general are doing a little better. They've had real wild, sideways, or declining action for many years, to be honest with you. And so also Amgen and Vertex are in Python, but biotech stocks are sort of scary. Let's just be honest. It's a little, because you never know when a drug approval or drug trial news is going to come out, and that stock might surge, but it also might tank. So IBB, even though it's a little volatile too, that can provide a little more protection. So if, say, Amgen fell 6% on Monday, this stock, the IBB might fall, but you have a little more protection. It's a way to play what may be a growth area. It's had a nice rebound without being a little bit nuts. I don't know how you read IBB and the biotechs. Well, it's a nice looking chart, actually, and a nice day of outperformance today. You mentioned Amgen and Vertex in the top 10 holdings in this fund. Also, should pay attention to Biogen, ticker BIIB, because they had a nice gap up last month on the Alzheimer's news, and that stock continues to hold gains pretty well after that gap up. So biotechs continue to be an interesting spot in the market here. All right, finally, we're going to take a look at Alibaba, and Alibaba has Singles Day on November 11th. And for people that aren't familiar with Singles Day, what is Singles Day? Singles Day is by far the world's biggest e-commerce event, much bigger than Amazon Prime Day. I think it's bigger than Amazon Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of those combined. It is just huge. Taylor Swift is going to headline Alibaba's big event. So it's enormous for Alibaba, but also all the other players. And Alibaba cleared a buy point. You can sort of see it got above, I think the level is like 184.23. And it's Alibaba, JD.com. Those are in buy zone. VIP Shop, Pinduoduo. Those are extended. You have other stocks like ZTO Express, because you got to ship all those packages. ZTO Express is hovering right around a buy point, so this is important. A number of those companies report next week, including JD.com. So it's going to be a really big event. So
it's definitely one to pay attention to.
Well, Alibaba is interesting here. We're just looking at that chart. In recent days, volume has picked up in the stock, and like Ed said, it did break out over a 184.23 buy point. It looks like it ended the week still in buy range, so we'll see what Singles Day looks like on Monday. All right, well, that'll do it for this week. Wanted to thank you all very much for joining us. A couple of house cleaning items. We've got a big webinar next week hosted by Irusha Paris. He's going to be joined by Mark Minervini and David Ryan, two wizards of Wall Street, talking about champion selling strategies. You can go to investors.com/webinar for more information. And we also launched IBD Live this week, and wanted to just give people a heads up about that. Trade live with their professionals. You can get more information at investors.com, IBD Live. So that's Chris Gessel, Ed Carson, David Chung, myself, a whole host of other market participants. So we're excited about the launch this week, and we're going to be back at it next week. So
yeah, we were talking about Alibaba as it was breaking out. You know, we covered a number of times. So we're really trying to get at these actionable stocks and market action right there. I think it's really nice. Look at the newsroom and look at the market analysis right at the beginning of the day.
Always a lot going on in pre-market trading, and we're in the office early. We go on air just about 10 minutes before the open every day and go for about a full hour into the trading session. So be sure to get more information at investors.com/IBD Live. All right, folks, that'll do it for today. Again, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend, and I think it'll be Ed and Justin back here on Monday.
It's all right.
All right.